Good afternoon. Who all are there in the class? Abhijit, Ashutosh, Ranjan, Utsav. Switch on your cameras. So we are learning something new today. Something new. Something which maybe you have not heard before. Some exercises which you do not know about. So it is all about inference. ये क्या नाम सुना है क्या पहले? Inference क्या होता है? Inferences क्या होता है? Students who are studying English need to know what is inference. Never heard.
No,
Ma'am, heard but don't know the full
Okay,
meaning of
what
a
is the literal meaning of inference क्या होता है? When you infer, क्या मतलब होता है उसका?
मैम किसी चीज में इंगल्ज होना.
Infer होना, indulge होना. जब तक मीनिंग नहीं समझेंगे तो कैसे जानेंगे? Inference meaning अनुमान लगाना. Inference. You come to a conclusion, you read some passage, you come to a conclusion on the basis of your knowledge. Something you read and something you understand with your knowledge, your experience, and something you अब समझ अनुमान लगाना मतलब इन्फर करते हैं ऐसा हुआ होगा वो उसने इसलिए ऐसा किया इसलिए कि ये हुआ होगा. So this is called inference. So inferences exercises बहुत ज़्यादा हैं और this will help you to learn, understand, comprehend what the passage is saying, why somebody said this, and what is the story about. So some things are written and something you know by guessing, by inferring. So let us take a look at inferences. Can you see the? So when you infer, you expand. Inferences is a guess. When you infer, you guess that a reader makes by combining details from a text and personal knowledge. Something which you read, something which is given. The text is given, you read it. And then something you make out, you try to guess. This guessing game is called inference. A reader makes an inference about what is happening, what may have happened, what can happen. So conclusion is a judgment. And it's all a combination of inference and conclusion. So what is conclusion? It is a judgment about what something means based on the facts and details. No, this is the text and you have to infer. Please read this text. If there is any problem in your any of the vocabulary, you can ask.
Ma'am, Yolanda is a place or anything
No,
else?
no. Yolanda is the name of a person.
लेके
Okay.
चलेगा।
एक minute. Hello. First, decide what is happening in the passage. Look for details and set the scene. So the audience applauded as Yolanda walked into the onto the stage. What is the meaning of applauded?
Ma'am, halla.
जैसे कोई स्टेज पे जाता है तो बाकी लोग ताली बजाते हैं, अपलॉड करते हैं, वेलकम करते हैं,
Clapping, just like.
क्लैपिंग करते हैं. क्यों क्लैपिंग कर रहे थे? इसलिए कि योलांडा जो लड़की है वो स्टेज पे जा रही थी.
Violin बजा रही.
How can you say that Yolanda is a place? ये कौन बोला कि Yolanda is a place?
Ma'am, just same as place ही name था.
आशुतोष रंजन।
योलांडा एक लड़की है जो कि स्टेज पे जा रही है और तालियां बज
Ma'am,
रहे हैं.
I didn't read the full sentence. That's why I asked.
अच्छा, तो इन्फ्लुएंस इसी को बोलते हैं कि लोग ताली क्यों बजा रहे हैं. इसका मतलब कि पीपल ऑलरेडी नो कि योलांडा कौन है. शी मस्ट बी अ वेरी गुड आर्टिस्ट, जिसको देख के तालियां बज रहे हैं, जिसको देख के लोग तालियां बजा रहे हैं. तो इन्फ्लुएंस का मतलब है मतलब अच्छी तरह से टेक्स्ट को पढ़ो. See, the audience applauded as Yolanda walked onto the stage with her violin. She did not fidget while the pianist found the correct page of the score. Yolanda squinted into the bright lights of the auditorium. She couldn't see her parents and friends, but she knew they were there supporting her. After a few rippling notes sounded on the piano, Yolanda began to play. Her bow glided across the strings as if it had a mind of its own. This is the text. Now you have to tell me, first decide what is happening in the passage. Look for details that set the scene. Look for the verbs. Look for the nouns. What is happening? Next, use details and personal knowledge to make an inference. Now, what do you think about this whole text? Finally, put the facts together to draw a conclusion about the passage. Give me the story. इस पैसेज को पढ़ के क्या समझ में आता है? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Please answer. Inference आप सीख रहे हैं ना?
मैम, योलांडा एक लड़की है जो कि वायलिन बजा रही है. वो एक ऑडिटोरियम में स्टेज पे बैठी हुई है और वहां से वो अपने जो भी वहां के पीपल है उसको देख रही है. उसमें वो अपने ये फादर और पेरेंट्स और फ्रेंड्स को भी ढूंढ रही है, बट उसे वो दिखाई नहीं दे रहे हैं. बट वो आपको नहीं दिखाई देने के बावजूद भी वो अपना पियानो है तो वो बजा रही है. कुछ देर बाद बट योलांडा began to play the violin. Then after her in the violin there is a strip called bow or a strings. वो उसको एज बी कॉल्ड उसके माइंड से वो जो आवाज आ रही थी वो दोनों कनेक्टेड थे. आज आई अंडरस्टैंड मैम.
उसका बो क्या? व्हाट इज द बो?
मैम, वो वायलिन में एक वो लाइनिंग जो रहता है वो उसी को बोलते हैं सर.
क्या
क्यू
चीज?
को मैम.
क्या?
मैम, क्यू होता है ना वायलिन में, उसको बोलते हैं शायद.
वायलिन में क्यों होता है?
मैम वो स्ट्रिंग जो होता है ना, वो
हम्म
उसी को शायद बोलते हैं। आई थिंक,
वायलिन के स्ट्रिंग को वो बोलते हैं।
पता नहीं मैम।
हैव यू एवर सीन अ वायलिन?
Yes, ma'am.
यस मैम।
तो अपने दिमाग से सोचो कि अगर तुमने वायलिन देखा है तो वायलिन बजता कैसे है। दिस आई एम स्पीकिंग बिकॉज ऑफ माय नॉलेज ऑफ अ वायलिन।
One stick and one holder.
Ma'am, that
वायलिन,
stick is called bow.
यस व्हाट?
That stick is called bow.
वायलिन,
कंफर्म नहीं था
वायलिन
मैम।
में साउंड कैसे निकलता है बताइए, कैसी बजाई जाती है, कितने स्ट्रिंग्स होते हैं वायलिन में? वायलिन में 4 स्ट्रिंग्स होते हैं, लेकिन वो स्ट्रिंग्स बजते कैसे हैं? हाउ डू द साउंड्स कम आउट?
मैम दैट्स डिपेंड्स अपॉन द पर्सनल। मैम वो कैसे बजाता है, वो हाथ से बजाता है, फिर उसका ये प्लेट टाइप भी आता है, नहीं तो एक स्टिक टाइप भी आता है, वो उससे बजाता है। कैसे बजा रहा है वो उस पर डिपेंड कर रहा है, कितना टैलेंटेड है वो पर्सन।
नहीं नहीं, वायलिन का जो
Ma'am,
जो
the vibration in the string.
नो नो, स्ट्रिंग तो रहता ही है, लेकिन उसका साउंड निकलता है बो से। इसको वायलिन एंड द बो एक दोनों एक साथ आते हैं, जिसको वो जो बो रहता है उसमें कुछ हेयर काइंड ऑफ रहता है, उसी को टच करता है, उसी फ्रिक्शन से निकलता है वो साउंड
मैम
निकलता है।
हॉर्स
यस मैम।
रहता है उसमें।
हम्म,
मैम घोड़े का बाल रहता है।
हाँ, और उसी के फ्रिक्शन से वो टच करते हैं स्ट्रिंग्स को एंड साउंड्स कम आउट। तो दिस आई नो फ्रॉम द माय नॉलेज। लेकिन यहाँ पर हो क्या रहा है? टेल मी द स्टोरी ऑफ योलांडा, व्हाट इज हैपनिंग टू योलांडा? फर्स्ट डिसाइड व्हाट इज हैपनिंग, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल सेट द स्टेज। टेक्स्ट में इतना ही दिया रहता है, अब कंक्लूजन आपको निकालना है। प्लीज somebody try.
मैम आई हैव ऑलरेडी टोल्ड व्हाटएवर आई अंडरस्टैंड।
Okay, whatever you understood. What is the conclusion? First of all, what is happening? फिर से तुम बोलो एक बार। आप इन्फ्रेंस जानना बहुत जरूरी है, अनुमान लगाना, what is really happening, और कुछ आप अनुमान लगाते हैं। Put the facts together, मतलब टेक्स्ट क्या है और तुम्हारा कंक्लूजन क्या है, तुम्हारा अनुमान क्या है, तुम्हारा इन्फ्रेंस क्या है, what do you think? What kind of artist is Yolanda? What does she play? How does she play? ये सब आपको आंसर करना। Somebody else please try.
अगेन आई एम मैम।
Yes.
अगेन आई एम।
नहीं, somebody else. Priya Gupta, you try.
Yes, ma'am.
Try. It is a very short story. Something is given and something is hidden. And whatever is hidden, you know by the text कि आगे क्या हो सकता है। नहीं समझ में आ रहा?
No, ma'am.
Okay, हम टेक्स्ट पढ़ लेते हैं फिर से। Anybody else can understand this? Can explain this?
मैम हम फिर से बताएं।
हाँ,
मैम ये लड़की है जो जिसका नाम युगांडा है, वो स्टेज पे इंटर करी है, वैसे ऑडियंस उसका क्लैपिंग से स्वागत कर रहे हैं। वो अपने वायलिन के साथ स्टेज पे इंटर करी, उसके बाद वो अपने आप जो करेक्ट पियानो का जो स्कोर होता है उसके थ्रू वो अपना ये कर रही है। लेकिन उसके बाद वो अपने स्टेज, वो जो जैसे वो ये स्टेज पे बैठती है तो ऊपर से एक लाइट होता है कि जो उसी पे रिफ्लेक्ट करता है, उसी को फोकस करता है। देन आफ्टर शी फाइंड इन द ऑडिटोरियम दैट वेयर हिज पेरेंट्स और फ्रेंड्स आर सिटिंग, और उस बट लेकिन वो उनको ढूंढ नहीं पाती है। लेकिन उसके कुछ देर बाद वो अपना ये वायलिन है वो बजाना स्टार्ट कर देती है। देन आप देन आफ्टर बो और स्ट्रिंग का जो कनेक्शन होता है वो कंटिन्यू हो जाता है।
कंटिन्यू तो हो जाता है, फिर इसका मतलब निष्कर्ष क्या निकलता है, कंक्लूजन क्या है?
मैम स्टोरी तो यहीं पे खत्म हो जा रहा है।
हाँ, तो व्हाट इज द कनेक्शन, कंक्लूजन क्या है?
मैम एक ये पीस ऑफ माइंड।
नहीं ना, नहीं, now I'll explain. So first, decide what is happening in the passage. So Yolanda is an artist who plays violin, and when she's walking onto the stage, the people applaud, and then from the stage she tries to look at her friends and her parents, but she could not see because of the glaring light, because of the bright light. She squinted and she could not see, but she knew that her parents are already there. After a few rippling notes sounded on the piano, and then she was supported by the piano. The piano, somebody else was playing on the piano to support her. Following which, Yolanda begins to play. And she plays it so well, so effortlessly, that her bow was guiding and she was playing effortlessly. It means the conclusion is that Yolanda is very good at playing the violin. Conclusion क्या है? Her bow glided across the string as if it had a mind of its own. मतलब कि उस effortlessly, जैसे उसका बो और वायलिन बिल्कुल तालमेल ऐसा था कि अपने आप चल रहा था, और योलांडा बिल्कुल ब्यूटीफुली बजा रही थी बिना किसी एफर्ट के. Conclusion, she was a very good violin player. Use details and personal knowledge to make an inference. So what is the personal knowledge? Personal knowledge तो ये है भाई, people applauded her. सबसे पहला लाइन तो देख लीजिए, the audience applauded. It means they already knew that she is a very good artist. Why would anybody applaud somebody who is unknown or who is the first timer? It already means that this was not the first time that she was playing, and she was a good artist. That is why people clapped for her when she was walking on the stage. This is called inference. Conclusion, she is a good artist and she was playing effortlessly. It means it means that she was one person who was very serious about her violin, and she has this knowledge, skill, expertise, and she was an ace violin player. She was a very good violin player. This is the conclusion. Remember, as you read, think about the details that the author presents. Compare them with what you already know about the subject or setting. Use your knowledge to make an inference, to draw a conclusion about what is happening in the passage. Now, you continue with the next. Here, there are some questions which will be easy for you. Academic vocabulary is: an inference is a guess that a reader makes by combining details from the text and personal knowledge. A reader makes an inference about what is happening. Yes, please read. Read loudly. Somebody read.
Yes, ma'am. Make inferences and draw a conclusion. The story starts when Mr. Course saw Ralph walk into her clothing store. She greeted him by name. Mr. Course took Ralph by the arm and led him to a table stacked with new sweaters. Soon she was holding up a red sweater and nodding her head and smiling. Rap, who had come in only a pair of socks, started nodding his head along with her. Not bad, he said, as he reached for his wallet.
So what is the scene? Who are the characters?
Ma'am, Mrs. Kosit,
Mr. Khan, Mr. Khan,
Mrs.
Mrs.
Kosit,
Kosik. ये क्या है? कौन है ये? What is she doing?
ये लेडीज है जो कि क्लॉथिंग जो स्टोर है, क्लॉथ स्टोर, वहां पे
किसका
जा रही है।
clothing? Whose clothing store it is?
मैम राफ का।
नहीं,
मैम
clothing
उसी का है,
store
मैम
Mrs.
इसका खुद
Kosik
का
का
है,
है, हाँ? इसके
खुद का
खुद
है
का है।
इसका।
So
Yes,
when Mrs. Kosik saw Ralph walk into the clothing store, she greeted him by name. मतलब उसकी दुकान है और उसमें एक बंदा आता है. Ralph is a person who walks into a store और जो ओनर उसको फर्स्ट नाम से पुकारती है. She greets him by name. उसका नाम जानती है, मतलब कि she is known to him. When somebody is calling out somebody's name, it is quite clear that you know that the person is well known. She greeted him by name, and then she took Ralph by her arm और उसका हाथ पकड़ के and led him to the table stacked with new sweaters. और वहां ले गई जहां पर new sweaters का स्टॉक आया. Soon she was holding up a red sweater, and very soon वो दिखा रही थी red sweater and nodding her head and smiling. और वो बोल रही थी कि अच्छा, nodding her head and smiling, it is understood that yes, even I am liking this sweater, so you take it. Ralph, who had come in only for a pair of socks, Ralph जो था वो सिर्फ एक pair of socks के लिए आया था. वो उस दुकान में स्वेटर खरीदने नहीं आया था. He only came for a pair of socks. Started nodding his head along with her. Not bad, he said as he reached for his wallet. Now, what inference can you make from the fact that Mrs. Kosik greets Ralph by name?
Ma'am, C.
मैम she already knows name.
She already knows name. Now, how do you know? Because why will anybody call out her name? Somebody who's known. So, calls her by her name because he's a known person. Okay. Number 2. What inference can you make about Mrs. Kosik?
Ma'am, D. C sells more stock.
She sells more socks than sweaters. How do you know this? How आपने कैसे इन्फ्लुएंस किया, कैसे अनुमान लगाया कि वो सिर्फ सॉक्स, वो ज्यादा सॉक्स बेचती है?
No, ma'am, I think C.
No, tell me. How do you think D can be the answer?
No, ma'am, C is the answer.
मैम सी होगा।
C
No.
is the answer.
No.
देन ए।
हाँ, आप इन्फर करने नहीं जान रहे. आप प्लीज देखिए, पढ़िए टेक्स्ट में क्या लिखा हुआ था. कि रैल्फ सिर्फ सॉक्स खरीदने आया था उस दुकान
मैम,
में.
ये C इसलिए होगा क्योंकि वो जो कस्टमर था
नहीं
वो
नहीं
सिर्फ
नहीं
सॉक्स
नहीं नहीं,
खरीदने आया था,
वो सिर्फ सॉक्स खरीदने आया था.
लेकिन वो उसको
और
स्वेटर भी
स्वेटर, उसके पास न्यू स्टॉक भी स्वेटर का आया था, इसीलिए वो चाह रही थी कि स्वेटर भी लो. सॉक्स तो तुम लोगे ही लोगे, तुम स्वेटर भी लो. द डी इज द राइट आंसर. She sells more socks than sweaters because that person Ralph had come only to buy socks. Right?
मैम एक मिनट हम लोग को ऊपर का स्टोरी दिखाइएगा।
हाँ बिल्कुल. और उसका हाथ पकड़ के उसको वहां पर ले गई थी to a stock of new sweaters.
यस मैम।
Right? So Ralph had come in only for a pair of socks. And then when he sees the red sweater, he starts
मैम
nodding.
लेकिन ये भी तो नहीं बोल सकते हैं कि एक ही कस्टमर को लेके कि सिर्फ वो सॉक्स ही बेच रही होगी, स्वेटर नहीं बेच रही
नहीं
होगी।
नहीं, यहाँ पर बिल्कुल क्लियर है कि वो किसी दुकान में सिर्फ सॉक्स खरीदने जाता है. It means he knows that in this shop, she sells very good socks. So the person had only come to buy socks. So the answer here will be D. Sorry. She sells more socks than sweaters. Number 3. At the end of the passage, what conclusions can the readers draw?
मैम सी.
Again, wrong answer.
अगेन रॉन्ग.
Hmm?
मैम राफ तो ऐसे सिर्फ पेयर ऑफ सॉक्स ही खरीदा ना, जो कि उसका जो इसका
Pair
इच्छा
of
था कि
socks खरीदने आया था, लेकिन शॉपकीपर ने उसे रेड स्वेटर का स्टॉक भी दिखाया और वो बोलता है नॉट बैड, बुरा नहीं है, मतलब कि गोइंग टू बाय इट.
मैम
Ralph will
डी.
buy the red sweater.
बी होगा.
नहीं, not bad बोलता है ना. Read this again. The problem is that you are in a too much of a hurry. He said it's not bad. फिर से देखिए, Ralph, who had come in for only a pair of socks, started nodding his head along with her. मतलब he is agreeing कि हाँ ये
मैम
बड़ा
वो
अच्छा है.
खरीदेगा, नीचे दिया है एज ही रिच फॉर हिज वैलेट.
मैम डी. डी होगा.
उसने कहा ना, he started nodding कि हाँ ये अच्छा है, not bad. He said as he reached for his wallet. और वो फिर not bad करके वो अपना wallet निकाला पैसे देने के लिए. Naturally, he will buy the red sweater. उसका बॉडी लैंग्वेज देख करके वो नॉड कर रहा है, वो अग्री कर रहा है कि यस दिस इज अ गुड रेड स्वेटर. राइट. और ही रीचेस आउट फॉर हिज वॉलेट. नॉट बैड कह के वो वॉलेट निकालता है. इट मींस ही इज गोइंग टू पे फॉर द स्वेटर एंड द सॉक्स. पढ़िए इसको, ठीक से पढ़िएगा. Take some time, invest time in reading the text. Tell me if you understood the text. Inferences are
फर्स्ट
given
में होगा
in.
जॉर्डन इज अ वेरी रिस्पांसिबल पर्सन, तो इसमें होगा यस.
Had he been responsible, he would not have left the door open. फिर से पढ़ो इसको. यहाँ पर ओपन एंडेड क्वेश्चन है. Yes or no नहीं. Yes. Why yes? No. Why no? So Jordan is a very responsible person? No. Why no? Simply because had he been responsible, he would have locked the door. He was there enjoying a he was just going to enjoy the basketball game. And he thinks that if he goes back, he will miss the match. But if he doesn't go, what will happen? his uncle and aunt were out of town, and there were expensive things in the tools, in the shed. So what is going to happen? With a sigh and with a heavy heart, Jordan turned around and began to jog towards uncle's house. So सबसे पहली बात कि had he been responsible, अगर आपका आंसर yes है, तो फिर
नो है मैम।
तो तुमने कहा था yes है. Had he been responsible, he would not have left the door open. So he is a very irresponsible person.
Ma'am, but as Jordan soon realized, he turned back to his uncle's house.
He realized, he turned back, which was ethical. That is good. He was a good person, but then he was so excited about the match that he forgot everything else.
Yes, ma'am.
इसका inference ही हो जाता है ना.
मैम
किसी चीज में
डुअल
आप
एस्पेक्ट है।
हाँ, आप इतने excited. Jordan grabbed his baseball glove and headed for the ballpark, excited that the championship game was finally here. और जैसे आपको मैच देखने के लिए इतना एक्साइटेड हो जाते हैं कि आप सब कुछ छोड़ जाते हैं और फिर वहां भाग जाते हैं. Then Jordan remembered something that gave him a sinking feeling in the stomach. And then he remembered that he had left the door open. And he held, he had left the door to his uncle's tool shed unlocked. And his aunt and uncle were out of town. If he went to lock the shed now, he would miss the first inning of the game. On the other hand, his uncle had a lot of expensive tools in the shed. With a sigh, Jordan turned around and began to jog towards his uncle's house. So by the time he reached there, maybe, what do you think? If somebody might have stolen the goods or what? ये तो सोचने की बात है ना कि इतने देर के अंतराल में anything could have happened. Fraction of a minute or a second, right? So these are open-ended questions. So he was not a responsible person. तो अपने एक्सपीरियंस हम जानते हैं कि दरवाजा 1 मिनट के लिए भी खुला छूट जाता है तो कुछ भी हो सकता था. अब क्या हुआ क्या नहीं है ये तो nobody knows. You can make a story. When he reached the tool shed, he saw that his uncle already had come back. And then he might, और उसको बहुत डांट पड़ रही होगी. Yeah, when he reached there, he saw that all the expensive items were missing.
Left, fraud.
Anything could happen, no? In matter of कुछ भी हो सकता है. ये तो इन्फ्लुएंस की बात है ना. 5 मिनट के लिए भी आप खुला छोड़ देते हैं with expensive things around. Anything can happen. चलिए नेक्स्ट करते हैं.
नो मैम, इसका आंसर नो होगा बिकॉज इसका रूम का सामान ऐसा फेंका रहता है. क्या
फेंका कार तुम कहाँ पढ़ लिए भाई?
मैम देखिए, सी flip through a stack of old magazine and a bundle of school newspaper.
तुम क्या पढ़ रहे हो? हम आगे वाले थोड़ी पढ़ रहे हैं.
थ्रो नहीं है, वो थ्रू है.
तुम नेक्स्ट पढ़ लिए क्या?
हाँ, सेकंड वाला.
अच्छा, नंबर 2 पढ़ रहे हो क्या?
हाँ.
Are you reading number 2?
यस मैम.
Read then. ये ओपन एंडेड है. नो why no, yes why yes. Somebody read it loudly.
With an
Hello? Somebody please
Yes,
read it loudly.
expected sign.
Exasperated.
Ex-
मतलब frustrated.
yes,
Exasperated.
exasperated sign. In great search one more time for her science report. She looked under the dinner plate with a petrified piece of orange rind. She flipped through a stack of old magazine and a bundle of school newspaper. She even moved 2 pillows of dirty sweet cloth and a shopping bag full of old DVDs. Why was it so hard to find things in her room? Because the
Tell me.
not a systematic arrangement of in a room. Therefore, its answer is no.
Why no?
Systematic arrangement
Why?
नहीं था इसका रूम में.
Ingrid's room is too small.
No, because systematic arrangement.
What do you mean systematic arrangement? यहाँ पर देखिए बात क्या कर रहे हैं. With an exasperated sigh, frustrated sigh, Ingrid, there's a girl or a woman, searched one more time. एक बार और वो ढूंढ रही है. It means continuously वो ढूंढ रही थी. एक बार दो बार नहीं, वो बार बार ढूंढ रही थी और लास्ट बार वो सोची कि one more time ढूंढ लेते हैं. And what was she looking for? She was looking for a science report. She looked under the dinner plate. मतलब वो इतनी desperate हो गई थी कि dinner plate के नीचे वो देख रही थी. With a petrified piece of orange rind. और जो ऑरेंज का छिलका है उसको हाथ में ली हुई थी. She flipped through a stack of old magazines and a bundle of school newspapers. और वो पूरे घर को सिर पे उठा ली. She even moved 2 piles of dirty sweat clothes and a shopping bag full of old DVDs. मतलब पुरानी चीजों को भी वो पूरे तरीके से ढूंढ रही थी, उलट पुकट कर रही थी. पूरे घर को उसने क्या कर दिया था, एकदम मेस बना के रख दिया था. And a shopping bag full of old DVDs. Why was it so hard to find things in her room? कोई चीज मिलता क्यों नहीं था इंग्रिड को अपने रूम में? Why? Ingrid's room is too small. Somebody please answer.
स्मॉल होता तब मिल भी जाता.
स्मॉल होता तो मिल भी जाता. यहाँ पर क्या है? यहाँ पर नो, her room is not small. Inference क्या है? That Ingrid is a person who cannot keep her things at a proper place. That is why she doesn't remember. That is why it is so hard for her to find the report. And a science report was something which was very important. Why could not she see? She is a very careless person. She should have put the report at the proper place, but which she did not do. So from this passage, we come to the conclusion that she is a careless person and doesn't care about keeping the things at the right place, the right thing at the right place, right? This is inference. Just read. These inferences also come in your exams. And I think I'm going to include inference in your AKU syllabus also. Inference is something which students should learn.
Next year.
Yes. No, I will teach them this year only. There's so many things to teach in English. Like I'm teaching you communicative English. So inference is there, a part of the curriculum. Yes, somebody please read. Read it loudly, somebody.
Yes, ma'am. In literature class, Mr. Watandwe announced that he would read a famous poet by
What
M.A.
are you
Gupta.
reading? Read number 3.
Number.
Oh, yes. For Mrs. Kennedy, last day as a teacher at Douglas Middle School, the cafeteria served her favorite lunch, chicken tacos. The maintenance man hung streamers in the halfway outside her classroom, and Principal Hargis made a special announcement over the intercom. All day long, Mr. Kennedy's students and former students stopped to speak to her.
Inference.
Mrs. Kennedy is going to replace Mrs. Hargis as principal of Douglas Middle School. Yes, ma'am.
How?
Because in the story, it's saying that Mr. Hargis is that last day, and in the cafeteria, he was served by his favorite lunch, chicken tacos. That's, I think.
Okay. So it was her last day as a teacher, and then she will become the principal.
Principal.
Yeah. Okay, number 4.
Literature class, Mr. Wattenby announced that he would read a famous poem by Emily Dickinson. He began because I could not stop for that. Junita Sanchez then mounted the next word. He kindly stopped for me. And in fact, Junita quietly
Jonita.
quietly whispered the word to the entire poem as Mr. Buttonby read them. Jontia read literature book laid close in front of her. Jontia has memorized in India.
हाँ ये तो easy है. In
Yes,
sense,
ma'am.
Jonita has memorized the Emily Dickinson poem. Yes, no.
Yes.
How?
Ma'am,
How do you know that she has
whispered the word to the entire poem as Mr. Watanda.
her book was closed. This was the clue. Her book was closed, and even then she knew what were the next lines. So yes, she had memorized the entire poem because she was speaking with the books closed. Her book was closed. Number 5. क्लास में कौन है? प्रिया गुप्ता पढ़ो.
Yes, ma'am.
And answer the question. Priya Gupta.
Yes, ma'am.
अब आपको समझ में आ रहा. हाँ पढ़िए.
Ma'am, Trudy enjoyed visiting her father at work, but she had to be careful not to get in the way. On the table, Ronaldo was assembling a massive salad filled with colorful vegetables in front of the stove. Ellen was tasting her incompatible mushroom soup with a slight frown on her face. In the corner, Valdemar was roaring something about more scallion on the gravy. Through it all, Trudy's father, in his puffy white hat, kept close watch so that so each dish come out perfectly.
So Trudy is visiting a factory assembly line. So what is happening over here in the passage?
मैम ट्रूडी जो है वो अपने फादर के वर्क प्लेस पे विजिट करती है बट शी इज नॉट केयरफुल इन द वे वेयर शी गो. हम रोनाल्डो जो है वो टेबल पे कलरफुल वेजिटेबल्स का सैलेड असेंबल करता है फ्रंट ऑफ स्टोव और एलन जो है वो मशरूम सूप with slight prawn. Ma'am, what the meaning of slight prawn?
Frown मतलब कि कुछ पसंद है उसको नहीं आ रहा है, वो मुंह बना रहा है. He is not smiling. The opposite of smiling. आपको अब तो वर्ड आया था ना. Smile. She is frowning. She is smiling. मैंने आपको दिया था याद है? Emotions and feelings में था. Smile.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Smile. Yeah,
ma'am.
frown. When you're not happy, you frown. The opposite of smiling is frowning. तो क्या ये किसी फैक्ट्री में गई है, असेंबली लाइन में गई है, क्या है? Yes or no?
No, ma'am. She is not going in the factory. I think,
What do you think इसके father कहाँ काम करते हैं?
ma'am, in restaurant.
Yeah. So it is quite clear that he is working in a restaurant. So जाके बस देख रही कि what is happening over there. तो यहाँ पे देख रहे हैं कि everybody is talking about food. कि और his father is very much particular about everything has got to be perfect.
Perfect.
Through it all, Trudy's father in his puffy white hat. Puffy white hat मतलब कि his father was a chef in a restaurant.
Yes, ma'am.
कैसे पता चला हमको? उनका hat,
Ma'am, with
puffy white hat, kept close watch so that each dish came out perfectly. Probably he was a chef in a 5-star hotel or something. So this girl, she goes to visit her father, लेकिन she is careful not to get in the way. मतलब किसी को disturb नहीं करेंगे, हम बस चुपचाप से वहां पर देखेंगे. I will just watch. I'm reading it again. Trudy enjoyed visiting her father at work. उसको अच्छा लगता था उसके father जिस restaurant में काम कर रहे हैं उसको उनको देखना पसंद आता. She used to enjoy watching her father at work. और वो क्या देखती है? वो these are the things that she is seeing. She is watching. On one table, Ronaldo, a person, was assembling a massive salad filled with colorful vegetables. See, he is preparing a salad, a beautiful salad for the table. In front of the stove, Aileen was tasting an incomparable mushroom soup with slight frown. और वो मशरूम सूप जो बन रहा था उसको वो टेस्ट कर रही थी, बोली कि नहीं उतना अच्छा नहीं बना हुआ है. फ्राउन उसके फेस पे, इट मींस समथिंग इज मिसिंग. In the corner, Vladimir was roaring something about more scallions for the gravy. और कहीं वो बोल रहा है कि ग्रेवी कम है, इसमें ग्रेवी ज्यादा होना चाहिए, चिल्ला रहा था वो. Through it all, और सब कुछ सब चीज के बावजूद, Trudy's father in his puffy white hat kept close watch so that each dish comes out perfectly. So what are we inferring? That his father is working as a chef in some 5-star hotel, and he makes sure that everything is tasting, everything is perfect, so that there are no complaints from any customer or the manager. So he would like to see things. He's a perfectionist, and he wants to see that everything works out superbly. And this is what Trudy likes about visiting her father. She enjoys visiting her father, right? So from the knowledge, from our own knowledge, यहाँ पर कहीं लिखा हुआ नहीं कि he's working in a restaurant, but I can infer, no, I can understand that this is not a factory, rather this is a hotel, and a star hotel where her father is working as a chef. Today's last inference. Okay, this is an activity which we can do in the next class. So you will read a story to your class, look for passage that help you make inferences or draw conclusions. Write 3 short passages in the chart below. They might describe a character, a situation, or a setting. Then write what inference or conclusion you can draw from each passage in the 3rd column. List details that led to your inference or conclusions. So today I have introduced inferences, what are inferences, and how this is worked out on your skill, on your knowledge, and on your comprehension, how you read, how you infer, and how you come to a conclusion. And that's it for today. Why Ola with the camera off? Students who want to be good at English should start inferring. So today you came to know something new. Inferences. Drawing conclusion from your knowledge.